They say code is eating the world, and HTML has took over my fashion choice for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to be with you to share my point of view about the dark side of AI. Thank you, my friend. And in this week, we've heard so much about cybersecurity advancements, and we've heard artificial intelligence all over. But I wanted to present the point of view of hackers about using AI and how bad hackers can use AI. So, spoiler alert, I grew up as a hacker, but not necessarily a malicious hacker. In fact, I grew up as a very curious young little girl. Right here in Tel Aviv, I was asking my parents so many questions, and I was teaching myself how to write HTML code by taking apart other people's websites. I was learning all about the World Wide Web. In the first year we got access to the internet here in Tel Aviv in 1993. But it was only in 95 that I realized my true passion was to be a hacker. And I realized this thanks to my hacker mentor. Her name, Angelina Jolie. Some of you may have seen her in the Hollywood film Hackers that came out in 1995. For me, that movie was an instant inspiration. I realized for the first time in my life that my passions, my curiosity, and my power over technology, it's called being a hacker. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the film, Angelina is not the bad guy. In fact, she's the leader of a fierce group of hacker misfits, high school kids who use their power over technology to shape the world and even save the day. But we are here today to learn from the real world of hackers, not just my Hollywood heroes. And in our real world, there are a lot of malicious attackers. And what we've realized in the last few years is that these types of malicious attackers, whether they are criminals or nation-state adversaries, are incredibly adaptive. They move fast, they're creative. In other words, they embody a quality we have been talking about all week: innovation. So let's talk a little bit about malicious innovation, and in particular, how criminals and malicious adversaries can take advantage of generative AI. By the way, this is my favorite Transformer, Optimus Prime, from back in the day. Transformers were the automotive cars in the kids' cartoons. But today, kids are growing up with Transformers like ChatGPT and other different types of generative AI tools and large language models. So we are all very familiar with Bard, Gemini, Claude, and many of these other generative AI systems. GPT has more than 1 million users, 1 billion users in the 2 years it's been on our planet. But what about the malicious cousins of ChatGPT? What about Dark Bard, allegedly trained on darknet data? Or Dark GPT-3 bot? Or Worm GPT, based on the open source GPT-J model? Or perhaps you've heard about Threat GPT, Wolf GPT, Fraud GPT. As you can see, while criminals are fast to adopt AI, they are not incredibly creative when it comes to the branding and the naming conventions of their AI tools. And the last one on the list is of particular interest. It's called SpyEye. It was actually created by a team of security researchers in Korea as a proof of concept tool. Now, what is common to all of these different models is that bad guys are not afraid to take their chances and start using them. And what can they use them for? Well, let's take a look at Worm GPT. Allegedly, from the actual screenshots of Worm GPT, it can create phishing campaigns and emails. It can be the best tool for attackers and the worst enemy of legitimate GPT or the OpenAI GPT system. What is even more interesting is that the creator of Worm GPT has been selling it on darknet websites and Telegram channels. And it's not clear whether this tool actually works or perhaps is just a scam to get criminals to pay for an allegedly criminal tool that doesn't always work. So, no honor amongst thieves, it appears, but there's other types of generative AI tools that criminals are creating and marketing. The next one is a little bit more operational, and its name is Predator AI. It has about 11,000 lines of code created by generative AI with a terrible user interface, incredibly poor user experience. But this is an automatic tool designed to target vulnerable, misconfigured cloud infrastructures. What do I mean by that? WordPress servers, Joomla, AWS instances. This tool comes pre-configured with the capabilities and the exploits to allow attackers to take advantage of the so many vulnerable cloud systems that are incredibly popular in this day and age. Another interesting fact for the audience here, the people behind Predator AI actually include their name and the Telegram channel where you can find them and hopefully to them, pay them for their capabilities and services. And this is the face, if you will, of one of the creators of Predator AI. And in the very bottom, you can see at least they recognize that Israel is real, but their statements about what they think about our country are quite clear. And I've taken the liberty of blackening out the fruity language that they take advantage of. Another tool these types of attackers will take advantage of, and they're not the only ones, is what I like to call the explosives of the 21st century, the TNT of the 21st century. Of course, these are Telegram and TikTok. These are the platforms where so many creative criminals can take advantage of. They can use it to market and sell their products, their services. And since these platforms are not very regulated, they can do whatever they want there. Now, it doesn't end there. We know that these platforms are also served as a basis to spread fake information and also malinformation, malicious information that will harm us. So it is my recommendation to take these platforms with a grain of salt. But when it comes to hackers and generative AI, I think we're only at the beginning of a love story for the new age. Because if we think about all the classic ways that attackers get into organizations, those are phishing emails, credentials and identity theft, using people's passwords, and of course, direct attacks, exploits on network appliances, or really hacking directly into remote systems to get access into an organization. If you look about these three classic access vectors that pretty much every big breach or ransomware campaign has started with, for each and every one of these, generative AI has become a tool of choice for criminals. When it comes to phishing campaigns, it can now be used to generate 100 different variations in every language, with every image translated exactly and personalized exactly. You spent this week in Tel Aviv Cyber Week, perhaps you will be getting some phishing emails next week. And when it comes to credentials and identity, I'll show you in a minute how generative AI is helping bad guys create synthetic identities. And certainly in the realm of exploits and direct attacks, scanning, automation, and different AI tools have already been part of the arsenal of bad guys. Now, just to give a counterpoint, I also want to showcase to you Fuzzy AI, a tool created by the good researchers at CyberArk Labs to demonstrate how they can use generative AI to jailbreak other generative AI models. Got it? It's an AI that can hack or jailbreak other AI models. So this is a proof of concept tool by the good friends at CyberArk Labs. Do check it out. I think it's fairly impressive. But creative criminals have come up with different ways to use technology against us. Surely many of you heard the story about the British director who got an urgent email from his German boss asking to transfer $243,000 to a new subcontractor of the company. That boss followed it up with a phone conversation. And that employee recognized his boss's German accent and, of course, transferred the funds. And so $243,000 were lost like that. Certainly you've heard about this story. When do you think it happened? A week ago? A month ago? 2 years ago, when ChatGPT became a broadly accessible tool? Newsflash, ladies and gentlemen, this happened 5 years ago. Criminals have learned how to use deep fake algorithms to come across as an individual using their voice and likeness. And just recently, we've heard about deep fake video personas taking over video conferences like Zoom or Google Meet to masquerade as an entire team of individuals from a company. This happened just a few months ago in Hong Kong. A chief financial officer and his entire team were masqueraded by a whole group of video avatars which fooled one employee, an employee who was on a call, who believed everyone was real. That employee transferred 200 million Hong Kong dollars, which is about 20 million US dollars. Now, when I heard the story, I didn't believe it at first. How are we to believe such stories? So I actually saw the video conference by the chief superintendent of the Hong Kong police explaining they believe the criminals used videos from that company to specifically train the AI to generate those deep-fake, convincing video avatars. Now, very recently, the Wall Street Journal put out this information piece, this opinion piece. Deep fakes are coming for the financial sector. My friends in the Wall Street Journal, they are not coming, they are here. Meet David Creek, an individual that does not exist. Here he is. This is a synthetic identity. This person does not exist, but there is a website that is now able to generate IDs and passports. These images, complete with the carpet background, look very legitimate, and they can be used to open a new bank account or a new cryptocurrency exchange. This is the website where you can find such fake IDs. It is called Only Fake, a joke perhaps on the OnlyFans website. And while they were rumoredly taken down by the American government a few months ago, they came back with a statement: we haven't disappeared anywhere. In fact, we are now preparing an update, and they are also offering a discount, so you can use the code ID card to get your first-time discount. They are very savvy when it comes to their branding and their marketing. So, how will you do on your next Zoom call? Do you feel comfortable challenging people's identities? How can you verify an email or a phone conversation in such a world? Indeed, this is a new criminal renaissance for bad guys. It doesn't end there. Our life as security practitioners used to be pretty clear. We were Mario at the bottom. By the way, Mario, before he was super, he was Mario fighting Donkey Kong. And we had to be watchful for flaming barrels of oil thrown at us by a 500-ton gorilla at the top. That's still our job as security practitioners, but now they can do it 1,000 times faster. And when it comes to nation-state adversaries, they've learned to take advantage of generative AI. Don't take it from me. OpenAI said in their own report that they have identified malicious use of AI by state-affiliated threat actors. OpenAI say they found this use to be limited and incremental, but I disagree. Perhaps I disagree because these are the countries that were found to be taking advantage of that platform. So with these types of adversaries, I believe it is better that we take it into our attention strongly and not lightly. To summarize, ladies and gentlemen, what is at risk in this day and age? What the most complicated, the most fragile thing these types of attackers can take away from us? It's our trust. Our trust in the digital ecosystems that allow us to thrive, that has allowed Israel to do okay even in such a time of difficulty and adversity. How can we forge a future ahead? How can we rebuild trust? This is my question to all of you. And I hope you choose to learn from the friendly hackers and security researchers that are showing us that path forward. For those who wish to learn more from the friendly hackers, we will be right here on Thursday during B-Sides TLV, Israel's largest hacker community event. Thank you so much for your attention. Please stay safe and see you next time. Sayonara.